What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and today we are doing a review on the Colonel WASP tactical shotgun. All right, you guys, so this blaster's been out for a little bit, but I finally broke down and had to purchase one. I kind of wanted to wait for the longer magazine version that holds one extra shell. And yes, if you didn't realize already, this is a shell magazine-fed shotgun that ejects shells out the side, and it is just super, super cool. I mean, it has got to be one of the most fun blasters I own for sure. But this thing hits hard, so I want to change it up a little bit in this video, and I want to go straight to the firing demo and chronograph test. So let's see what this baby's got. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna put some shots over the chronograph here in just a second with this thing, but I wanted to show you the shells here. We got 3 different types of darts that we're gonna be trying out. We have a new dart to the lineup, which are the jet darts, the brand new version, which are actually really good darts. I need to get more of these, but they're solid darts that they hand glue. And then obviously we have the Dart Zone Pro darts and our Worker Gen 3s. So we do have a shell here. This is proprietary to this blaster, but I think there is a 3D printed version now, so hopefully I can print out some more of these. But I did get 2 sets, and I think that's the maximum you can get when purchasing this, so that'd be 16 shells. Obviously this thing holds 6 in the chamber, and then 6 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, so you can hold 7 fully loaded there, which is nice. Good capacity, obviously, for a shotgun. These will only shoot half-length darts, and the way they work is you got to put the dart in, and you kind of have to ramrod it in there with your little finger so it gets all the way to the back. So there you go. So we will go ahead and load up a few of these and put over the chronograph, see how they do. All right, let's load her up. Throw 1 in the chamber, and then we'll load up the magazine. Start out loading it with some Dart Zone Pro darts, bamboo darts first, so we can get to those last. And then we'll start out with Worker Gen 3s. That is just so much fun loading that blaster. I don't think there's a blaster I own that's more fun to load than that one. All right, here we go. 210. 209. 193. 218. Last worker. 192. Couple Dart Zone Pro darts here. 218. 227. Wow. And you gotta love that. All right, we'll try a couple more Dart Zone Pro darts and go ahead and load up some quick darts from Jet here. It's a little hard to hold all these shells. I need to get a way to hold it on my blaster. That'll be a lot more practical, but that's cool. And we got some Dart Zone Pro darts. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see what we got. That is hitting hard. 229. Wow. Woo. 215. 227. Quick darts. 207. No, that was a bad dart, I think, or something weird happened there. Not a good seal. 161, still not terrible though. 206. 209. And we're out. Pretty sweet. And those things are flying real far. Hopefully I can find most of them. So This thing is obviously pretty darn awesome. I mean, I'm just in love with this thing. It is so much fun to use, and I cannot wait to take it to an actual Nerf war. Hopefully that'll happen somewhat soon. But nevertheless, I'm having a ton of fun with this thing around my house. It is just so much fun to load, and obviously seeing those shells eject out the side, I mean, that's just really cool. And then it fires super, super hard. So performing obviously over 200 FPS, I mean, that's pretty darn legit. The blaster is very solid. There are a few little things, but we'll get to that in a second. But obviously I've added a few parts to this thing to make it a little more tactical, a little more cool, but we've added obviously a stock on the back of here that is a worker buffer tube folding stock. It's pretty sweet. And then just a aftermarket M4 airsoft style stock to that, but it does rotate around, which is pretty cool. So then I could use it like this without a stock. So that's kind of fun. Kind of have to move the stock forward a little bit so it gets out of the way of the grip. But nevertheless, that's pretty sweet. So obviously we do have an in-strike attachment point on the back here. Is a little bit tight though. Is a little bit larger, I feel like, than your normal Nerf in-strike attachment. So I wouldn't swear that everything will work great with this. But this one's probably one of the tighter ones that I know of, considering it's a worker one. So it's actually even harder, but it does get on there. It's just very tight. But that's actually somewhat of a good thing if it does work, because then you won't have nearly as much wobble. You will probably want a shorter stock, because if you have too long of a stock, it's going to be kind of hard and long to reach. So a short stock is good. So that's why I use this all the way collapsed. Go ahead and throw that back on. There we go. Threw a little grip piece down here to give me a little nicer grip, I think. But the grip actually is pretty nice by itself. It does have some texturing on the sides here. It is a little creaky on mine because I had a bit of an issue actually assembling this thing. I didn't have the absolute perfect screwdriver to use with this thing. I really feel like a #1 screwdriver worked better, but the one I had only had too large of a shaft and would not go down into some of these recessed screw ports. And I actually stripped out a few using a #0 screwdriver. So I guess I need to make a trip to Lowe's when all this is over to find a good screwdriver to use there. Just don't feel like it's an essential trip for me to make right now for just a screwdriver. But if I end up there, maybe I'll pick one up and hopefully I can get the ones that I stripped out, because that would be bad if I couldn't. But we obviously have a full Picatinny rail on top through my EOTech sight on top of there because it just looks awesome. We do have a full stainless steel, I believe, priming bar here. So that is very sturdy because you need that to be able to prime that 18 kilogram spring in there. Now, I believe this will be compatible with most long shot springs. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. So I may tone this down a little bit so I can use it at my Nerf club, because unfortunately shooting over 200 FPS is a little too hot. So may do that in the future, but honestly, I feel like the prime, because of this added 3D printed foregrip here, is not too bad. I'm actually able to prime it without too much issue, without too much strain in my arm, which is nice, but it is definitely not easy. This is not meant for kids. This is an adult blaster, guys. This is legit, and this is definitely made for adults. So I definitely recommend adding on the 3D printed foregrip with the 3 sides of Picatinny rail to this purchase, because without this, it's going to be very difficult to prime. This is the pump grip you get stock. It is very thin. There's really nothing to grab a hold of, and it's just not great. I feel like this is the biggest flaw with this blaster. Not sure why he went this route. I know you can add Picatinny to the sides, and that might give you a little more grip, but that doesn't really make it comfortable for me to want to grab a hold of Picatinny rails on the side. So that doesn't really make sense. So I just went ahead, grabbed the 3D printed piece, and I love it. Added my AFG on there. Obviously, you could put whatever foregrip you want on there and be set. So that's really, really awesome. Now, this blaster does come in a kit. You do have to assemble this whole blaster. It does not come assembled. So, assembly is, I wouldn't say simple, but it isn't difficult. There are a few things that are difficult and frustrating. So obviously when you get your blaster, it comes in pieces, and a lot of these plastic pieces and metal pieces had flashing on them, so I had to clean up quite a few of the parts. That's pretty unfortunate with the plastic pieces, especially the plunger rod, which had plastic flashing around the part where the O-ring goes on, so I had to clean that up, and that obviously needs to be perfectly clean to have a good seal on there. So that's a little unfortunate. The plunger tube had flashing on the metal, but that was pretty easy to clean up. Actually, I just took the shaft of my screwdriver and went around the edge of the plunger tubes on each side, and that was fine. That was really simple, but the plastic is a little bit more difficult. A few other pieces had some flashing issues, so I had to clean those up. And then the trigger, and even Monkey Mods tells you to do this on their assembly guide, and is that they tell you to sand down your trigger. And I sanded it down quite a bit, and it's still pretty sticky. I did lubricate that along with this piece here. They do recommend that. That definitely is highly recommended. But that's still pretty sticky. It's not terrible. I can deal with it, but the trigger pull is not amazing. The other issue I had when assembling this is trying to get the two shell halves together, because that spring load right there is under a lot of pre-compression. So holding this plunger tube down while trying to close the other shell half is very difficult. You could obviously lessen the spring load. You may have a better luck if you switch out that spring off the go, but that is not an easy thing to do. And a lot of things are tensioned on there, and everything can fly out, obviously, if the plunger tube pops out. So something to note, it is a little difficult to get the two shell halves together. And then when you insert the screws, now they sent screws that have very fine threads and they're very small, and I stripped out a few of them when trying to drive them in. So that's unfortunate. I will have to pick up a number 1 screwdriver to try to fix those. But, you know, this blaster is definitely not perfect, but once I had it together, I'm in love with it. I mean, it is really awesome. Well, guys, basically had this review completed. I had done all the video segments except for a fun firing demo that actually, if I do still do that, it will be at the very beginning, and you've already have seen that. So if that did happen, you may have noticed that I have a crack. And this crack literally happened when I was not even using the blaster, and I had not fired this for probably 24 hours. I had fired it for the FPS test that you guys witnessed, and then I did all the talking segments right here that you just watched, and I set it in my living room. It was just laying there, and then the next day my wife heard a crack when I was at work, and she didn't know what it was. And when I came home, the blaster had not moved from its position, but there was a crack right here. So I don't know if this metal expanded or if this plastic part just finally gave way or something, but this plastic, even when I was putting it together, I realized that it didn't seem to be the highest quality or the strongest plastic ever. Most of the functioning parts seem to be super beefy and reinforced, so I'm hoping that they hold up. It's definitely a stronger pusher mechanism and all that than your normal, just a normal dart blaster has. So hopefully that'll be okay. But this piece, it was very difficult getting these metal pieces in there. You have to use a rubber mallet to do so. It is very tight tolerances, and I'm guessing the molds aren't super consistent, and maybe mine was just tighter, and maybe the plastic didn't have the right mixture or something, I don't know. I'm just rambling. I don't really know what happened. I just know that it's broken now and was not being fired or used for quite some time when that happened. So yeah, that's very strange and disappointing. I have contacted Monkey Mods about this issue, but I have not heard back from them, but it's only been about 24 hours. So hopefully I'll hear back from them soon, and hopefully they are going to stand good for their product. Hopefully this is a fluke. I'm really hopeful that this doesn't happen to all their blasters. If you own this blaster and you've had any issues, Please let me know in the comment section below. That'd be greatly helpful to anybody viewing this wanting to purchase this blaster, because I'm hoping this is just a one-off fluke. So just wanted to let you guys know that. I had to obviously make an extra video portion here to tell you guys this, but I thought it was important to do so. But all in all, I really love this blaster. I had so much fun using it, and I'm hopeful that I can continue to do so, because it is just a ton of fun. I really want to put a sweet paint job on this shell, do something, maybe still keep it transparent, but put a hydro dip over it or something. I haven't really done that with a transparent shell before, so that could be fun and new. I know it's a very expensive process to make a blaster like this, so very happy with the price point that this is at and the fact that it actually exists. I just think that's super, super awesome. I will let you know my wish list. I really would love to see a bullpup shotgun, maybe a Caltech KSG style Nerf shotgun. That would be like the coolest thing ever. Although I think that would be pretty difficult to pull off, but that would be sweet. The dual magazine feeding into, you know, a single barrel could be a bit challenging, but the people in this Nerf hobby are super, super skilled. I'm always blown away from what they can design and pull off and make actually function consistently. And so I would not be surprised if that happened one day down the road, and I'd love to see it. But all in all, I think this is a really cool blaster. Hopefully this breaking issue is just on my model. If you are interested in purchasing this blaster, I will put a link in the description box below, along with the extra parts that you could also buy from Monkey Mods. And I'll try to find a link to the stock. I got this off of Wish, I think, a long time ago. I'm sure you can find, obviously, lots of different buffer tube stocks. This came from Wish. I can't really get a link for Wish stuff because it just changes all the time, so it's kind of hard. And I believe the foregrip also came from Wish. So I get a lot of like airsoft tactical stuff from Wish. If you're curious about those parts, those links probably won't be in there. But other than that, anything I got for this blaster from Monkey Mods will be in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave me a like on this video. It greatly helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Ring the bell for notifications. And as always, peace out.